Hey there, everybody. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Empire Interviews. So this is going to be a great one. I've been trying to get Cash on here forever. I've been verbally bullying him in the DMs and on Twitter for quite some time now. So I'm not condoning bullying, but sometimes it works. So we're going to sit down and have a good conversation about what's going on here in Cardano and just in the overall crypto ecosystem. So this is going to be a great one. We're going to try and knock it out. It's going to be a blast. So let's get into it. All right. So I'm John, right? And I'm here with Cash today. Cash, how are you? How are you doing? And how are things, man?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Hard to not be excited on a day like today. Cardano's doing its thing, and it's nice, man. It's nice to see some life get breathed back into the ecosystem.
Yeah, man. So for everybody that doesn't know you, I feel like I know a whole lot about you, maybe more than you even know that I would know about you. But no, I'm just kidding. But what I'm saying is, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do in this ecosystem. I know you have a lot of things that you're juggling that you got going on, but give us a little intro.
Sure. Yeah. So my name's Zach. First and foremost, more known as Cash in the Web3 space. I got started here about it's been almost 5 years now, which is crazy to say out loud. My prior history to Web3 was I was a mechanical engineer for trains. I used to work on diesel electric locomotives. I tore them apart, put them back together, did all kinds of stuff, project management, and a lot of preventative maintenance planning. Again, some relevant experience to what we're doing now and some that was just completely useless. But I got into Web3 because that industry moved too slow for me. It wasn't innovative enough, and I didn't feel like I was actually leaving any type of legacy or able to leave that legacy. So I got into Web3 in 2021, and I really took it head on. I got involved in projects. I became a community manager. I moved my way up to running my own team, and then we figured out that devs were a sore spot in the space. So we opened our own dev agency. We now are at 11 employees. Most of our team is in Quebec. Fine, great team. Really excited for everything that they do. And yeah, man, we're builders. We do a lot of the stuff that we do is behind the shadows. A lot of people may know us from NFT mints and staking platforms, but we go a lot deeper than that. We're connected to so many projects and platforms in ways that people wouldn't even know. It's really truly been an amazing opportunity to work in this market and space. And like I said, we needed fast pace, man. This is exactly that. And you can see how fast it moves just, in the day to day and the meta shifts and all that. And we're here for that. We love it. So that's a little bit about me. Yeah. You're muted.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So as I was gonna say, is that so some of the things that I know that you work on is so there's Anvil, which is a dev agency, like a development studio, and then you also have WayUp.io, which is right now a NFT marketplace. I'm sure that there is a lot more in store and in mind with that because for people that are out there that don't understand NFTs, right? So NFTs are non-fungible tokens. This is a unique characteristic of something you can create on blockchain that basically allows you to create, I guess, impossible to duplicate one-of-one things. So this could be either a membership that belongs only to one person. This could be used in future use cases as like a policy ID for insurance. This could be literally medical data IDs, or like basically like your medical data like folder would be identified by one of these. So it's really just a innovation in technology. Right now, a lot of people know NFTs in the sense that pictures of monkeys and animals and stuff that have like crazy values, but it's a proof of concept. And I'm excited for what the future holds. So one of the questions that I want to ask is, what brought you to the Cardano ecosystem? And then I want to know, what use cases or things can you imagine being built in the future that you think are the most exciting for you?
Yeah. So I mean, you pretty much said what brought me to the Cardano ecosystem, NFTs, right? When I first got into crypto, I found Ethereum, and I was really into a site called Super Rare, and what they sold was one-of-one fine art, or really high quality, detailed illustrations, digital prints, things like that. And I love that kind of stuff. I'm a collector, if you can't tell by my background. Like, I literally just love collecting things. I have a passion for fine arts and things like that, and just things that are unique, right? Like, I really do enjoy like the collectability of NFTs, even though, like you said, it's just the first layer of NFTs. For me, it was really fun and almost addictive. Well, it was addictive, and I got caught in the web. But that said, without NFTs, who knows how far I'd be in this ecosystem, right? One of the things that I liked about NFTs was the collectability. One of the things that I hated about collectability on ETH were the gas fees. And that's what brought me to Cardano. Paying $80 you work a full-time job, and then you come home and you're like, hey, I want to have fun collecting NFTs, and you have to pay $80 for a gas fee. Really quickly, that becomes a no, and a no.
Real quick. Okay, so people out there, so what he's saying is basically like the NFT could cost $50, but then the gas fee, which is the actual transactional fee, could be $80. And this was something that Ethereum struggles with. I mean, I remember buying $20 NFTs with $100 gas fee. And so yeah, pretty wild. But you can continue. What are you the most excited about as far as like innovation and going in this space so far? There's been a lot of exciting news in the Twitter space, and I know that you're tapped in.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that are going on right now. And what I think we're starting to see is the next evolution. I actually used this in a client call the other day, where I was talking about innovation cycles, right? And it's really funny because I stole this from Tap Tools. They made a post where Tap Tools is one of the companies who does analytic tools for fungible tokens, which are basically the opposite of NFTs, something that can be duplicated and replicated. And they had a really unique post where they showed a list of smartphones, right? And you see the first one, and then it goes all the way, that brick Nokia that everybody had in middle school or high school, and then it evolves all the way into an iPhone, the current iPhone. And what you're seeing is the beginning of that cycle with crypto. So you have the first iterations of these projects starting to come out, and they're being refined every single day, right? Like, you're getting feedback from the users directly, where in many traditional companies you wouldn't get that, right? Where you can just reach out to the CEO and say, hey, I don't like this, and they have to answer you because it's Twitter, right? But one of the things that I'm really excited about would be the next generation of NFTs, right? Starting to use things like blockchain for ownership of vehicles, ownership of houses, supply chain tracking, RWAs, all these things that we said NFTs were going to be able to do in the beginning when we were just collecting pictures. And now we're actually starting to see some of that functionality. I've always been a big proprietor of NFTs, and that's one of the reasons why we were driven to build our own marketplace, was because we thought that NFTs were going to need a lot more features than they currently have, right? And that includes having them all in one place. So trading between people, right? The opportunity to list multiple assets at once, all these different types of technologies and features that people would want in a traditional market, right? Any video game you've ever played has a marketplace, right? We're trying to reduplicate that, but for assets that could range into the classes of billions and trillions of dollars, right? So it's a really fun segue from pictures to like the most serious possible things we could do with it, and I'm here for it.
I love that, man. That's a really good answer. And I mean, yeah, all of that I think rings true. I always think it's interesting, people that find their way into the space through NFTs. Because I've met a whole lot of people here lately that NFTs were the way that they came in. Like they didn't even, some people aren't even aware of like fungible tokens, which is crazy to me. It's like, you didn't come through Bitcoin, and then a lot of people say they come through Charles's whiteboard videos, which I mean, that's another thing. But I really love that. I think that's great. I guess one of the questions that I have is, you guys probably have some catalyst proposals in, and that's my guess, right? And then so I want to hear a little bit about that, as well as some things that you might be cooking in the background that people might not necessarily know, but that they should know about. I recently talked to Phil from Anastasia Labs and talking about Midgard, and he's just wicked smart. I was trying the whole time to just not look wicked dumb, but it was great.
Yeah, I mean, I actually also had a chance to speak. Well, I didn't speak much, but that's what happens when you're in a room with a person like that, right? You just absorb, right? And
Yeah.
that's one thing I love about this space more than anything is it humbles you so fast, right? I'll never forget my first Twitter space. I was like nervous, right? I didn't want to go up there and look stupid in front of people that I really respected and thought were very smart. But of course, right? We get through it. We work our way up. We build a reputation for ourselves, and now here we are 4 years later, and it's just amazing to me. It really truly is amazing how far you can come in this space, and so fast, right? I talked earlier today to one of the co-founders of Ethereum, and it wasn't Charles. And tell me that 3 years ago, and I'm like, what are you talking about, man? That's impossible. But we do, to your point, we do have quite a few catalyst proposals in. We're actually, this will be our sixth round of catalyst applying. We've been funded 4 times through 2 different fund rounds, Fund 11 and Fund 12. We've built a universal wallet connector that basically takes all of the wallets in Cardano, puts them into one easy to download place, and you simply go to our GitHub and you can get it. It's completely open source. That's been funded twice now. We're starting to do cross-chain with it. And then our next round of proposal will be to integrate it into video games, right? So things like Unity and other elements like that. Definitely recommend if you're building a game to check that out, of course. But additionally, we're focusing a lot on partnerships this round. One of the things that we really wanted to do was highlight builders, because that's what we are. But again, we only have the capacity to do so much. So it really makes sense for us to partner with teams that have proven themselves in marketing and business development, right? That's why one of the biggest proposals that we're submitting this round is with Nuvola, right? So we're
Oh, that's
actually
awesome.
creating a company together. It's 50-50 ownership. We're both equally invested. And through this next round of Catalyst, we'll be able to create the legal entity, really build it out to be a standalone company. And we're creating a platform that basically allows you to monetize and extract the liquidity from your existing rewards programs, right? So you have airline miles that are sitting. You can now actually make them liquid. You could trade them, right? You can do a lot more than just watch them sit there and do nothing. So that's one of the things that we're really excited for. Another proposal that we have in is with a company that we were actually introduced to by Cardano Foundation, which were, again, like, tell me that 3 years ago. And I'm like, huh? Like, I was funding them 3 years ago. So it's really interesting how if you just keep your head down and you keep pushing, you can make these relationships, build them, and they grow into something very fruitful. I was very naive at first to wonder why so many people were getting benefits from these companies and we weren't. And then I realized, like, they've paid their dues, right? They've built their name and reputation up to the point where they actually are being noticed. So through that hard work, Cardano Foundation introduced us to a company called Merchandise. Merchandise is a print on demand company. They currently have, I think, over $6 or $7 million in revenue per year, and they're in one of the fastest growing industries. They have connections to some insane companies. Like if you look through the proposal, we did a really good job of illustrating it. But what we're creating is a connected products kit for them. So every client that they go to will be a part of their offering. So basically, it's a custodial wallet. You don't even know it, right? You log in with Google, Gmail, Apple,
Little
your
passkey.
what's that?
Little passkey action where it's just like, hey, here's your passkey for this device, and then you don't actually ever have to, do the
Exactly.
pneumatic seed phrase and all that.
Exactly. You nailed it. And eventually biometrics, right? So you log in with your biometrics and it makes you a wallet. And you don't know that you have a wallet, right? Unless you want to know. And then we help you to export it later or whatever you want to do with it. So you could technically still use it as a Cardano application, but it's mainly for Web 2, right? And that's what people want outside of Web 3. Like if we want to reach brands outside of Web 3, we need to build them Web 2 products.
Yeah.
And once you log in, you create your custodial wallet. We have the capabilities of creating an NFT for you that looks like a coupon code or a collectible, and you don't know that it's an NFT. But in the background, we're utilizing the Cardano blockchain, NFTs, native assets, right? Which we talked about NFTs earlier. That's one of the biggest advantages Cardano has is all of their assets are native assets, which makes them actual on-chain representations of what you created rather than a smart contract reference, which is a huge advantage for safety and many other reasons. But those are the main ones we're working on. And then we have a couple other partner proposals in, right? We're working with Levy to try and help them get their contracts updated and add some new features. And then we're working with Yad Labs, which is a good friend of mine. I just met with him right before this. We had a great meeting on what we're going to do for marketing and things like that.
You're talking about Jamie.
Yeah, my man.
Yeah, Jamie is he's a dude. He's a legend. He's awesome.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. I love, and that's what I love about this job is we get to work with so many cool people who are really here for the right reasons and down to earth. And we really had a great meeting talking about strategy around this. And again, for us, Catalyst is a way to work with people who may not otherwise be able to afford a dev budget of $50,000, right? It's expensive to get stuff done. And it allows us to kind of showcase like, it's possible, right? Because if it makes sense for the community and the chain, then it gets funded, right? And the other thing is like giving us an opportunity to work where we wouldn't work otherwise. And then the last one that we have, long-winded, I know, but the last one that we have is our CMS. And this one is a really important one to me because not only is it great for the ecosystem, but it supports smaller businesses. It supports people who need things like a Shopify experience, right? You'll be able to go onto this platform and build a minting page, build a staking page, make your collection, layer your collection, make the metadata, right? Build a mini marketplace if you want. Create that layer of wallet connectivity that searches your wallet for assets like you talked about, right? Like a membership pass. All these things that you have to pay a dev for right now. We're trying to ease the development gap there. No code solutions. You go on there, you move the blocks around, you put your background in, you change the font, you move, like it's basic. It's so easy that I can use it. And I know I have zero coding experience, right? So that one I think is actually really powerful. And then just one comment to add is with the current fluctuation of ADA prices, it's been an interesting point of contention or topic that these catalyst proposals just became twice as expensive, right? To an extent, right? They weren't twice as cheap when we were in the bear market. I'll tell you that much. But now that we're in the bull, people are starting to say, and rightfully so, right? Well, ADA's jumped 80%, 90%. It's doubled in 2 weeks. Why are we going to adjust these proposal costs? All these things. The thing is, with something like the CMS, it's a perfect opportunity for us to slam more features into it, right? Like we get the opportunity now not to just go with phase one. We could essentially pay for 2 phases at the same time because we're getting double the funding. So it's really important to me to spread spread that knowledge, because I don't think a lot of people will think of it like that. And we can't change the proposal at this point, right? So the only way I can do it is really to get out in front of the community and tell them this is what we plan on doing. So again, Catalyst is a great tool, and it's so unique, and it's literally, I was so critical of it in the past, and we finally broke through and reached the right people, and we're able to get some stuff funded. And I see the value. I see the team listening, and that's really important. And they do a great job. I have direct contact to the guys who work there. We always talk to each other. It's very open. You're not going to get that anywhere else in the world, right?
Yeah.
Traditional government grant programs, even private investment funds, like you're never going to get this level of openness and transparency. So I'm very grateful.
No, that's awesome. I 100% agree. I will say, so we put in a Catalyst proposal because we wanted to make this bridge from Midnight to Cardano. We asked for 300,000 ADA because I thought that on the product side that 500,000 was the max, right? So I was like, oh, we're asking for less. They messaged later. First, we were going to be working with Keystone as like to support our ability to do that. And then so in theory, we could integrate it into the Keystone wallet, right? Because they have swaps and different things, cross-chain stuff, and they really care about privacy and some of these other things. If you want any connections with Keystone, I'm an ambassador now. But so they basically said that we asked for too much, and that we had to ask for 150,000. So we had a moment, like a couple of days to amend it, but didn't get that amended. And also, like, we were already asking for like considerably less than what it would have costed, you know what I mean, to actually like have that bridge and the auditing, even just the auditing by itself, be massive. So next time around, we're gonna have to do something together, figure that out, because we have some other ideas now that we're cooking. So we'll be looking at that for the next fund. We'll have to team up.
Love to hear that, man. And again, like, we're totally open to that. That's the beauty of Catalyst, is for us, it's like a way to show, like people, I think people in this space highly underestimate what it takes to dev something.
Yeah.
Just because there is a lot of like freelancing going on, things like that. But dude, I have been through so many projects. I've seen so many things gone wrong in so many different things. I don't want to name anybody specifically, of course, but I've seen people do things the right way, and then I've seen people do things the wrong way. And one thing you get with us is 100% professionalism all the time, right? We set very clear deadlines, very clear goals, very clear contracts, and very clear proposals, right? Like, everything that we do is very well structured, and you know what you're going to get when you pay for it, right? And Catalyst is a way for us to showcase that, and it takes the burden off of the project, right? Whereas, like, trying to make that decision is hard. Do you want to invest 60% of your budget into paying a professional to do it? Or can you utilize a tool like Catalyst? And then, same goes for projects like NMaker. You see NMaker a lot, right, in proposals, because what we offer is the ability to create a cheaper solution for the project and still get paid what we deserve to get paid, right? And that is one thing that I'm very proud of, is that we've stuck to our guns in that regard. And we don't lessen what our expectations just because there's a budget, right? We give a very clear budget, what it's going to cost, and when you get what you get, it's exactly what you asked for. So again, I love doing Catalyst with people because it's a way for us to basically give a quote and say, here's what it costs, and then the community almost makes the decision for the team. It's really cool. Like, it's something that I don't think has ever existed before.
Yeah, I am pretty excited about the idea of full participation of people in the network. I know that participation and governance and things is down, but I think that, again, I've seen some of your tweets about building a like software solution, like an app that solves those things. And I think that that's essentially what needs to happen. Once you go into your wallet and then you have the ability to do everything, and you don't have to go outside of one place or go to 6, 7 different places just to like find the information you need to be able to make certain decisions. I mean, even so I was just talking to Clark Alesna as well. That one's going to be coming out sometime soon, but he was talking about a Aegis, something that he wants to build called Aegis, which essentially will make it so when people stake to a staking pool, and that stake pool dies or something else, you've already preset where you want it to go based on your parameters. So if you're interested in ISPOs, if you're interested in higher return, if you're interested in altruistic causes, it'll automatically reroute you when one stake pool goes out. Because otherwise, you have to be actively paying attention to the stake pools every 5 days, and that's definitely a pain point.
Yeah, I actually think I can't remember where I've definitely met them, and I've definitely heard the proposed solution. I think it was actually in a constitutional committee where we were talking about the Constitution, and that was brought up, right? Like, how do we control, like, what's an authorized user, right? What an interesting, I mean, we could have a 6-hour episode on that, right? What's an authorized user? Why do we care, right? Why, if a guy wants to leave his ADA on a centralized exchange, do we give them the same rights as a person who's taking self-custody, right? Like, such a deep issue. And that was brought up, right? Like, what are the parameters around stake pools, right? How do we get the trap liquidity out of these retired pools and into new ones, right? Again, like,
because you can't just manually move them if we're in a decentralized. Yeah, can't just make that choice.
Them, period. There's literally no way to. Like, that's the crazy part. Even if the pool completely is gone, it's just sitting there and until they redelegate. And for me, it's a no-brainer issue. Like, I feel like it's very simple. Like, you got to market. That's how you get participation, right? You can't force participation on anybody. They need to want to do it. And that's just the simple facts. When ADA goes to $2 again, which I'm very confident it will, a lot of those people are going to come back and they're going to move their stake to a new pool because they're interested again, right? Because of the marketing, because of the token price effect. I don't like, it's such an interesting topic of discussion because, like, would you want to include that in the Constitution? Anyway, we could go real deep into that.
No, 100. So we're getting here to the end. I want to get these questions in, but I also got I had one of the best questions I think I've ever had, period. I think you're going to love this one, right? So Solana has Iggy Azalea. Who does Cardano need? Do we need a Sydney Sweeney, an Ariana Grande? Who's going to be our champion this bull market?
It's a good question. I honestly, like, I really don't think it's going to be a celebrity. I think the people on the chain are going to become the celebrities. Like, as crazy as that sounds, I think you look at somebody like Charles, look at like take tweets, put them on the chart and price them, like, show the full price of ADA over the last 3 weeks. And every tweet that he has can correlate to a different movement of price or something like that, or a narrative being built up, right? Do we need a celebrity? We have one. Like, literally. I mean, the guy might be in the Oval Office. Like, again, speculation, right?
Yeah.
But that's all you're getting with the celebrity as well. Like, I mean, come on. We were all here last run when Justin Bieber was buying Bored Apes and Lil Baby. And, like, what did that do? It was short-lived. It fizzled out right away. As soon as the bear market hit, they're selling them for losses. They're not here for the long term. If we're going to get a celebrity, I want somebody who's here for the long haul and they get involved in governance.
Iggy has been here. Well, she's been in this space
example.
like since she got in here. You know what I mean? She's tapped into the culture.
Sure.
Her tweets are regular and they're funny.
Yes.
And she's also building products. Like, she didn't leave during the bear market. She stayed. But that's why I think that we kind of need those types of champions. But I agree, there are a lot of people that are coming up in this space, and I think the community is very strong and getting that kind of following as well. So now one of my favorite questions is always, like, if you can go anywhere and you can eat anything, what are you eating? Charles is buying, and he'll take you out on his jet to wherever that you want for whatever parts. Paint me a vivid picture there.
All right. So I'm not really an appetizer type of person. I mean, I'll eat them if they're there, right? But for me, it's going to have to be, and I don't know where this place is. And I'm just I'm painting the picture for you of what it would look like. I don't know where it is, but I am a steak guy. Like,
Mhm.
sit me in front of the best steak. I don't even like I don't need it to be dry. I just want the best ribeye, grass fed, whatever. Give me the best
Wagyu.
ribeye. What's that?
Wagyu.
Yeah. Best ribeye you can find me. Take me to that restaurant first, right? I don't know where it is. Maybe it's in Brazil. Maybe it's I'm going to Argentina. Maybe it's there, right? Maybe it's in the US and I don't know it. But that's what I want as my main course, right? And then you'll like this one. I'll skip straight to dessert, right? Um, take me to back to Osaka, Japan. There was this place, I remember it like it, you know, when you're a kid and you just have that like lasting memory of something. I went there when I was 10 years old, back in the Pokemon card era. My dad was
Yeah.
on a business trip and he took me there and he took me to all these crazy places. I'm not a food explorer, right? I don't eat seafood. I eat like I don't eat fish. I eat seafood, but like I'm not into octopus and alligator
Oh,
or
I love it,
snake.
dude.
Just give
I'll
me
try anything once.
okay, that's fair. I will too, right? But I also got exposed to a lot of trying things once when I was a kid and it ruined it for me. But I'll never forget this. He took me to like a barbecue place, right? Where you do it right in front of yourself. They call it Korean barbecue now. It wasn't called that when I was in Japan, trust me. But we ate, right? And it was really good, right? You eat the chicken and the steak and you cook it right in front of yourself. But they had this dessert. It was like an orange, right? But it had like they had like made the ice cream and I don't know, it was like ice cream mixed with like almost like frozen ice and it was like re-put into the orange and had a little hole at the top and you eat it. I mean, I will never forget this dessert. I've tried to recreate it, but man, take me back to 2000, take me right to that restaurant, sit me in that chair and give me that dessert. And that is 100% my like that. I'll never forget that dessert. It literally left a lasting impression for almost 20 years. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
have
also
one
love
like
Japan. Like,
yeah. I have a dessert like that was in Rome. That it was literally like a custard with some kinds of fruits and stuff on it. But every single time I've ordered a custard, it's like that's not it. You know what I mean? Every single time I order like, and I'll try everything. I've been back to similar places and I just can't find it. All right. And then the last question before I know you have to hop off, but this was great. We're going to have to do this again and go into
for
some
sure.
deep dives. I'm telling you. And then I'm also going to go ahead and schedule for that call we were talking about. But what kinds of, like, if you're going to watch a movie or a show, what do you look for in that? Like, what is the, like, even if it's not one specifically that you name, but like, what are the characteristics of something that you like and that you're going to watch like every single time if you see it? That's what you're looking for.
I need my brain to hurt. Like that's what I like. Like I need something that really takes me on an adventure and makes me think, right? And gets me engaged. I mean, there's so many good shows on like Netflix recently, like that we'll watch, me and my wife will watch together that I could name, but like I'll just tell you like cuz it literally doesn't change. The name of the show might change, but the like type of show that we like to watch is always the same, right? We're watching this one now. It's called Yellow Jackets, right? I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix and it's about this girls high school soccer team and they're headed to nationals. You know, they won states. We're going to nationals, right? And the plane crashes. And it's about this like almost dystopian survival, like they're like it takes you from the past when they're in they literally the plane crashes. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, but the plane
Yeah.
crashes and they have to live in the wilderness. Like that's the first episode and it pairs it with the future them. So you get to see them in the future and then you also it's like taking you back and forth. It's making you think like what if, from day one, what did they do to survive out here? And then that's what the show is about. And I really
Jeez.
like that kind of stuff, man. Creative, makes you think, and it just like keeps you on the tip of your toes. Like those are the kind of shows I really like.
Did you watch Society of the Snow then?
Society of the Snowmen.
No, Society of the Snow. You didn't see that one?
No.
Dude, oh, that one is sick. That one
I'm
is
gonna write
literally
it
like
down. I'll
sick.
tell you
Like
that
I
much.
love sick and depraved stuff. Like basically, like I love the dark stuff. I like anything that's like mentally and emotionally challenging to watch. But Society of the Snow won like a Grammy and a bunch of awards because it's based on a true event. And what happened is that there was a plane full of soccer players that were going to like Peru. I think it was like in 1974, somewhere around then, that they crashed. And so they found them 2 months later, and only like 4 of them were alive.
This might have been based on something very similar to that because, and it's not a spoiler. They tell you in the first episode they get stuck out there for 19 months.
Oh, that's crazy. 19 months is even crazier. Like this was just 2 months, but they were stuck in the mountains.
Okay, but let
Peru.
me say this, right? Does it matter much if it's 2 months or 19 months? Your
Yeah,
whole
no.
life is going to change after 2 weeks. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to have, like, think about it right now. If I get stuck in the wild, like my body is not going to adapt to any of that food. How am I even going to know what to eat? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You're going to have to learn how to hunt. Like it's
Yeah.
just great. Like that's the kind of stuff that keeps my mind moving. And I mean, it's like it's either that or brain rot for me.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Well, I mean, like, you know, the ultimate question here is, are you going to live? Like, are you going to eat, or are you just going to die? You know?
Or what sacrifices are you going to make sure you live? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the craziest part of all of it. Like, and it's starting to get interesting. Let's just put it that way. We only have a few episodes left, and it's really starting to. You're starting to like figure out where this thing's going, and
I'm
it's
gonna
just
send you some bangers, dude. I've watched all
please.
of them. I've watched all of them. But this has been great. Thank you for joining us. We'll have you back soon. I know you have
For
to hop
sure.
on this call. And thank you all for joining us today. This has been a lot of fun. Dude, Cash, you're awesome. Appreciate you,
Love it,
man.
man. You know where
Till
to
the next
find me.
time. Yeah, man. In the DMs.